Guys, how's it going? We're just having a little hot dog fun here. What's up, everybody? Who's out there in La La Land tonight? There you go. All right. Whoever thought eating hot dogs would be a trivial dinner, but I guess when you roll up on a big stick, that's what you do. Didn't bother me one bit. I'm about happy as I can be. You got it. What you got? Anyway, yeah, I just publicized a couple more Beatles videos tonight. I said again, I don't know why they won't let me publicize the shorts on my live stream here. I mean, you can watch them through the shorts, I guess, but you know, what you see is what you get. I'm gonna figure that out later. But anyway, hold on, I'm gonna get me a drink of water. Ooh. All right, there you go. I'm just building. All right. There we go. All right, now we're back in business. Yeah, well, hell. Yeah. Well, when you go through chemo treatments and everything else, and they shoot stuff in your gut, had another reaction to their plan B, I guess. And so they gotta go to a plan C and see if they can nuke me and bot me and trap me, I guess, in plan C next week, I guess, do radiation, something else. I don't know. They keep getting allergic reactions from whatever they're giving me, so just wish me luck, guys, in the next one. I don't know. It takes like 2 seconds for me to figure out whether or not I'm allergic to it or not. It's pretty messed up, to say the least. I mean, they do have Benadryl on stock when I go in that room, though. It's like, okay, Earl's in there. Let's stock him with his Benadryl because he can turn red as a lobster like that screen back there. He's hanging over the window. But yeah, yeah, it kind of sucks, but I can't say it's right painful. It's just I know that when I was allergic to chemo, it's itchy and red like a lobster, and when I was allergic, now I'm allergic to another type of a chemo that they gave me a place at this time around, and they shoot me in the gut with a needle probably about oh probably about oh, shit you can't see it. It's probably about 3 inch needle. They shoot me in the gut with it. And they take about 15 to 20 minutes to slowly inject it in my stomach. Is what they do, and in place of the other chemo that was taking 8 hours to do. So it must be a different type of chemo. But anyway, I'm allergic to that too, so I had a reaction to that one too. So they stabbed me in the gut with that one, and I still wound up couldn't take. So they're going to try another treatment on the chemo part of it. I don't think it was chemo. I think it was like an antibiotic type thing or an immune system treatment. There, they had to shoot me in the gut with it. So, because I think what they're going to do is try to find me an immune system therapy for the chemo that they've already injected in my body for the last 8 or 9 months. Because if not, I can, basically die because I have no immunity to anything right now. So I don't go out very much, as you can tell. I may go to a store, but I got to wear a mask and stuff. If I do go to the store, I stay plenty of distance away from people because I do not have an immune system. The chemo already tricked that off my body. That rate must doing that crap. But so now they got to try to find something that'll work to about my immunity. I mean, I'm glad I'm off of chemo, but that's what was kind of shrinking in one way. But I wound up with 8 other lymph nodes that had cancer and some kind of a poison in my system. 2 on top of that, so I guess won one battle, lost 8 of them. So yeah, I guess. But I'm still chugging in here, and that was actually the first time when I had an injection in my gut the other day. It was actually the first time in about a month and a half since I had anything done to me, and I was actually feeling pretty good because I didn't have any side effects or anything. I didn't have anything to go to. I had Christmas off and New Year's off, and so word didn't go back until about a couple of days ago, but when I had that stuff in my gut. I told my wife before I went, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to try to get as much done at this house as I can before I go in, because I know I'm going to feel like crap when I come out. And sure enough, yeah, I did. As soon as they shot me with that needle in there, started pumping that shit in there, it was there by about 15, 20 minutes. And she laid down there, and, she took it out, took it out of my gut. She laid me down there. She said, well, I'm going to keep an eye on you in case you were allergic to the Paxil or whatever the hell it was they gave me for the last time, so they're going to keep an eye on me. She didn't even walk out of that room, not even 2 minutes, and all of a sudden, I just felt like I was on fire. I thought, holy shit. I said, hey, you got an air conditioner in here? Are we supposed to feel this hot? She goes, no, you're not. I said, well, I feel like I'm burning up. So she did my temperature, and my temperature was only like 99 or something like that. It wasn't very hot, but man, I feel like my face is on fire. And I said, well, you can add that to your list of side effects that you just rolled off your tongue that I could experience that I already have. Just add that one to it. She kind of laughed. I said, yeah, I guess there's going to be a plan C here next, right? So I think they're going to take a mild case of chemo and mix it in with the radiation therapy and do that all at the same time. And then I'll have that like once every single day. I'll do that with the radiation chemo every day. And the heavier chemo will be done once a month. So I don't know. It'd be nice if they figured out what the hell was going on with everything. But, it is what it is. And I endure it. I tell my wife that I'm getting ready to feel like crap again. So it is. It really tears a man apart. I feel for anybody that's got chemo or having to go through cancer treatments. Mine's a non-cell cancer in the lungs that it's inoperable because it's so close to my heart. They can't get out. The surgeon told me, I got about a year and a half left. So I said, well, don't know how to take that, really. Sometimes you want to cry at night alone. And on the other hand, God ain't taking me yet, boy, so I'm still here trucking. And sometimes you got to keep plugging in there, I know it changes your mindset thought about working. It changes your mindset thought about living and loving. When somebody tells you got a year to a year and a half to live, I mean, it sounds like George Carlin. You got 5 minutes, get your shit together. A year and a half seems like a long time, but a year and a half is a kick in the bucket. If I look back at how many years I've been in Indiana, I've been here for 30 years now. Moved from California in 1995, and been 31 years this August. That it seemed like a long time ago when I moved out here, but I reflect on my son and daughter and how they grew up, moved out. So my God, it just seemed like it was yesterday. When you're a kid, you realize that Christmas takes a long time to get there. And then it gets there, and it's like you open up your presents, and you're so excited that one night. It seems like that night never ends. Like, my God, I want to go. And that night never ends. The day you wake up that one morning, and you're waking up mom and dad been up all night wrapping presents for you. And don't get me wrong, I know there's some kids around this world that don't have anything. But I'm still going to celebrate Christmas. By God, ain't nobody can tell me otherwise. I don't need Kamala Harris to tell me, how dare I say Merry Christmas. You know what? Can I tell you right now? Sometimes it's not about you, you try to do whatever you got to do, but how about $2 song request? I'll give you my own personal song. What we got here? How's that $2 donation song request? There you go. Put that over in the corner over there. I don't want to stay in the corner. Whoop, whoop. Dread Q&A. Yeah, we'll leave it right there. We'll leave it right there anyway. For some request for whatever. To some request for, fill in the blank, I guess. Fill in the doggone blank. Anyhow, it's messed. That cancer treatment really hurts the guy. But getting back to the holidays and how time flies, it's like a year and a half is not that long. But as a child, it seems like it is an eternity. And then you realize as you grow up an adult that, Christmas isn't about presents. It isn't about presents at all. And you'll find that out when you get a little older. If there's any kids watching this, I doubt it. It's not made for kids. I do cuss sometimes, so it's not really in there. But, a young man or a young adult, 16, 17, 18 years old, who does watch YouTube, and I know with a lot of you youngsters out there, you watch it, you know who you are. But anyway, that's why you got to be careful out there. Even if something, they got their ways around their little age limitation stuff. But, you're going to realize when you get older that you have um, a mindset that, just getting up each day is a chore. And that long, lengthy year that you take for Christmas to get around, I've been through 65 of them. You've just been around through maybe 10, if that, if you're a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old or 18-year-old, 18 Christmases. I've been through 65 of them. My uncle, he's 90. He's been through 90 Christmases. And it's like, you can't how many there are. And it's like, my God, it was just Christmas last year. Holy shit. But, and I know that the Beatles had a song that it was out, and it's called Yesterday. And it's a beautiful song. And that's why I like the Beatles. They can go from one extreme to the next. They can actually take, 5 minutes and pick their nose and throw corn cobs at each other. And, I got blisters on my fingers and the guitar. 5 minutes later, come out with a hit song. That's how talented those young men were. There was a difference between the '60s music and when you're heading into the '70s music. That's when they changed more for I'll say the mild, mellow type Beatles to the hardened up Beatles when you started going to Revolution #9 and going to Helter Skelter, the White Album. The White Album era is what I call it in the 1970s when the acid trip was going on. But then again, like I told you, those guys were writing music about drugs that you would, just an outside listener would not know that they were talking about drugs if you didn't do a drug, if you weren't a druggie. But if you knew about drugs or was a hippie or anything like that, or even grew up around the Beatles era, you knew what they were talking about. Grandma would say, well, that's a pretty cute song. Yeah, she's Lucy Discussion time. Yeah, she's talking about heroin there, lady, okay? Come on. But, but they could write the ugliest words and turn them around into such beautiful music. You can just like all get out. You know, I don't know how he did it, but I think they just got so popular that it was just no matter what they did, they were not going to do any wrong. You know, and that was, I think, probably one of the biggest problems they had. They were almost too popular for their time, and they were way beyond their reach for their musical. How can I say that? Their musical abilities were just out there, and the guys, none of them, none of them could read music. That only goes to prove to tell you, if you want something done, you can do it. It's not impossible. Look at them Beatles, streets of Liverpool, poor, broke, alcoholic families, you know, working families. It proves you can do anything you set your mind to it. And it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that 2 and 2 is 4. But if you're doing Biden math, it comes out to be 16 somehow. I don't know how, but I mean, you should sound a little bit political here, but this I don't mean to be, but this country has gone to pieces so bad, it's not even funny, you know? It's like, I don't know what the hell is going on with this country. I really don't. And it's like, what can I say? You know, the Beatles are far beyond crisis to not know what you're doing. But anyhow, the crisis is that we have to. So there's to it. Just on messages. See if we can leave a little message in there for everybody. All right. See if we can get a couple messages right up here. Nope, we ain't got that. Yeah, we only had one guy out here, and I guess they disappeared off the stage. And that's fine. You know, people are going to come up and check in and check out. But anyhow, I don't mean to get political. Everybody's welcome to my channel to talk about what they want. I mean, you can talk about Donald Trump bad all you want to, and I don't really care. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here. I would rather have you guys vent on my show respectfully than to go out there and tear somebody's place up. Come on, man. That ain't right. You know, you're blowing up your own neighborhoods. You're destroying your own stuff for what? The sake of what? You can just say you're peacefully protesting? No, you're not peacefully protesting. You're causing havoc and rage, and you're costing me money because even though I'm retarded on disability, I still got to pay taxes on a lot of my stuff. I go to the grocery store just like you do. Taxes, you know. I got a car, I got to pay taxes. I got insurance, I got to pay tax. You know, I got insurance, I got to pay. All that has taxes on that, or fees and stuff. So please be respectful to other people's opinions, and don't attack them just because they have something different than yours. State your opinion and go with it, and say, hey, what do you think about this? Well, I don't like it. Okay, fine. Explain why you don't like it. But give me a hard fact of why you don't like something or why you do like something. Show me a receipt of why you like it. I mean, don't sit there and say, well, because so-and-so said that he did this. Okay? So I want you to tell me where he said it at, or anybody you're talking about, whatever you're talking about, or whether Biden or Trump or Dknews60Terrehaute or Bigaboo or whatever. And tell me what he said. And prove it. If you can't prove it, don't talk about it. Period. You know, because that's the problem with the media nowadays. Is the media will give a haphazard side effect of what's really going on, and they're wrong for that. You know, they'll spend an hour show or half-hour program trying to spin words around what somebody said. Now, you're not stupid, audience. You're really not. You're not you're not W1 born yesterday. Okay, just like this. I watched this one channel and he's really ranting raving about. I'm not gonna get into race mixed up here because I'm not racist at all. But anyway, this channel was into about, having, the black guy saying that, the blacks had built America and so forth. And yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot for America. But the bottom line is don't try to turn something into a racial issue. Okay? It's just not going to happen. Uh, they're first trying to sneak on me. Just check my channel out and see what's going on. But, but try to get to the point to where it's like, don't make this a racial issue. We do you, but so do the Irish, and the Japanese and the Chinese, for God's sake, built the railroads, blasting dynamite through houses, and it's like, there were a lot of what you call white indigent slaves here in the United States, probably more so than the blacks. Now, if you're going to sit there and say, and down the white person for turning you into a slave, no, you should thank the white person or the white man for releasing you. Yes, you stop to think about that for a minute. Thank the white man for giving you your freedom. Had it not been for the white man, so to speak, you'd still be in a coal mine or a diamond mine in Africa, where they would hobble you. If hobbling is, it would take your legs together and they put boards in between you and they would smash them together, and they would basically they would crack your legs to where you couldn't walk. It's called hobbling in the diamond mines. There's a movie called Blood Diamond. You gotta watch it and see what it's like sometime. It's pretty cool movie. But you gotta stop thinking about who you're blaming your crap on. Come on, man. I did not put you in shackles and chains. Your ancestors did that to you, not me. Not the white man, but your own ancestors did that to you. So thank my ancestors, because you think of me for nothing, because I didn't do squat. I was born 200 years ago. But thank my ancestors for allowing your ancestors to sell the white man to the white man. I'm going to a better place anyway. So you get over here, now you complain about what you don't have. Well, go back to Africa. I don't think they got very many boom boxes over there. Ghetto boxes. I don't think they got very many. Outside markets. No, I don't think they have any outside markets. They don't have fleas everywhere, flies on them to meet everywhere. If you don't like it here in the United States of America, go back. Please go back. I'm not holding you here. I don't have a gun. I don't own guns. I'm a veteran, but I still don't own guns. I'm not saying nobody can own a gun, because that's their name, their right to do that. But if you don't like it, stop waving or that Mexican flag. What you waving that Mexican flag for, dude? Huh? You waving that Mexican flag? You say, I want to get this land that you stole from me. No, we didn't steal it from you. We even bought it from you. And actually, blame that on Spain, okay? First, because when they came over there and they anesthetized the Aztec Indians, that's what created the Mexicans. So talk to your little forefathers there on that crap there and stop blaming that shit on the white man. I'm so sick and tired of that crap. It's not even funny. The Native Americans, for example, we stole the land from you. No, we didn't steal the land from you. It was not occupied by you as being a major, as being a landowner. You were not a landowner. You were roaming the land like a nomad. We were settlers coming to settle down in certain places. Go settle it, and we maintained areas that we lived in. The Native American would travel from place to place, as like a nomad would. So they didn't own anything. So you can't lose something you don't own. How can you call it theft? And it's like everybody has their own stench when they want to turn things racist. By God, people, get over it. It's, I wasn't born 200 years ago, so stick it up your butt. I don't know anything. And, I'm not racist, not by one solid core of my body is racist. I am what's called subjective listener. You tell me what you think I am, I'm going to tell you stick it up your butt. Okay? So there you go. And believe it or not, I got half my family's Mexican. Couldn't tell that by this white man, could you? Yeah, but they came here illegally. and they're a little bit pissed off. Most of the Hispanics are here illegal. I'll say they're illegals. They're not newcomers. So, that's what they are. You come here illegally, I don't have a problem with you. Pay your taxes like I did to get my shit, but don't come here and get it for free. Now, if you think you have something different about this process, please, by all means, drop me a line. I'll be liable. I'll be glad to debate this because I'm going to ask you one question right off the bat. How many illegals do you have living in your house that you're taking care of? How much money are you spending a month out of your own personal pocket that you're taking care of? I want you to answer that before you even talk to me, because none of you are. So therefore, that's all I'm saying right now on that issue here. But anyway, it's been a pretty long day, and I love talking to you and about the Beatles and everything. But it's like John Lennon had a beautiful song too. It's called "Imagine," and off the Imagine album. And I don't know. I think that when they broke up and went their own way, they actually got a little mellower in their music because they went from actually, I'll say, like a 60s type rock music to a hard acid rock in the 70s to the 80s and 90s where they had actually toned down their music while they all went off their separate ways. But Paul and John Lennon and I think it was George Harrison were actually singing. We're still singing. I don't think Ringo Starr did much after that, but I think he's still alive. Paul and Ringo are still alive right now, but they all had mellower thought processes than what they did when their minds were in the 70s. Paul McCartney was in Wings, and the Back to Eggs album. That great album. What you would have thought that he would have sang, but on the other hand, yeah, it is because that's the kind of music they played. They were actually able to go from one extreme to the next and have you, okay, that's good. Let's call it a wrap. Same way with John Lennon. You wouldn't think that he'd be able to go from one extreme to the next like he did, but they did. It was just a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful singers. Um, and they were just such a wide group with such, they were good kids. I mean, they made it in the world, and they're probably still the only group that's still making $50 million a month. And two of them are dead, and the other two haven't made a song in 50 years. Sorry Elvis, and sorry Rolling Stones and Mick Jagger, but there you go. I'm not putting any of those guys down because my mom loved Elvis Presley. She'd probably shoot me in the head if she figured I was mocking him. But no, Elvis had his own right. He was the king when he was the king. Uh, I used to love the Beach Boys. And the Beatles even got them beat. But and I was a Beach Boys fan. And I still am today. They were just styles. The styles of music were different. So it really depends on what music you listen to. Just like the styles of music today, which one do you prefer? Do you like old country? Do you like new country? And it depends on the mood I'm in. Sometimes I like the new country. Sometimes I like the old country. I mean, I kind of like Garth Brooks and Trace Atkins. And I met Trace Atkins. My boy got some big old hands. I mean, I thought I had big hands, but that man, I could probably put about 2 to 3 hands of mine in his one hand alone. I shook his hands out. Man, where'd mine go? Give my hand back. He's a big man. He's not fat. He's just a big, big man. Yeah, I wouldn't want to tangle with him. But he's got a beautiful voice. And I think I saw him at WFMS in Indianapolis here in 1995 or 1996, I believe, what it was. And in the band jam. And at the, I can't think of the art, what the RTA, though. Good Lord, I think it was, yeah, it was at the RCA. Or no, the Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds, he didn't have Fairgrounds. That's when I met him, and Helen Reddy, met her. Very, very nice lady, of course. They are signing autographs. They're going to be nice. They're not going to sit there and say, hey, dickhead, get out of my way. I'm busy right now. But actually, I think there was a girl that was sitting over the side of the bench that were signing autographs. Everybody was down where Trace Atkins was at. And I'm trying to think who else was there. I don't know if, oh gosh, there's a couple of them popular singers that were there at the concert. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there were girls. And she had nobody there signing autographs. And I kept, kind of walked over and said, well, can I have your autograph, darling? And I saw their name on there. I said, Randy, I love your music. You have a wonderful, beautiful voice. And she said, well, thank you. And she actually, she gave me an autograph picture of herself. I wish I still had that. And so I gave me an autograph picture of her. And I guess I felt sorry for her. Nobody was at her table signing anything, which that was kind of odd. But to see that, I mean, I don't really remember a lot about her or singing, but there's been years since I really uh, listened to country music. But it's just you see somebody out there and you know that they're famous, and nobody's gonna want an autograph. I mean, I felt bad, so I had to go over there and I asked her, Miss Redding, maybe I lied a little bit, but I didn't because she did have a beautiful voice from what I remember, and the songs that I listened to her to, I didn't listen to a whole lot of them, but it's just one of them things where you feel kind of bad because somebody, they want the support too, and you give them all the support you can. But anyway, getting back to my channel, I don't really care if you comment on somebody, but let's do this respectfully, okay? There's a respectful way of doing it and a disrespectful way. If you be disrespectful to me on my channel, I'll just block you because I don't care. Ain't gonna do anything to me except for maybe you come back up with a different name, but I'll continue to block you. Be a troll. Keep it on. I don't care. Keep it up. Keep going back. I don't care. But just don't put down my viewers when you're doing it, because that's not cool. That's like me putting you down because it's something I put an opinion you like, and I don't put anybody down. If I'm talking about political subjects, I'm talking about the political attributes. I'm not talking about the general population of the United States. And I know that doesn't make any sense because when I say Democrats or Republicans, I am talking about the group of people that are Democrats or Republicans. But if you think it's referring to you as a person, hey, you're pretty sick, or if you think I'm talking about you in general, maybe I hit a nerve, but I'm not. I don't know you people out there. All I'm saying is if I'm talking about a Democrat or Republican, I'm just I'm telling you what I'm observing, and you're telling me what you're observing, and then we're going to talk about what the news is observing. And I'll guarantee there's three or four different ways you look at that, just those lines alone. So, just because somebody's paying you money to protest, okay, don't give you the right to destroy another man's property. And when you're out there in the street acting like a fool, when your kids should be in bed, or your butt should be in bed getting ready for work the next day, like some of us have to go to work. I went to work for 50 years. I'm retired now. I can get up and protest all night. But my bedtime is probably about 9 o'clock, sometimes 10. But I don't have a time schedule no more. I get out and protest, but nobody has to pay me to do anything. If you can pay me $20,000, how the hell are you going to know what I'm going to say? If you pay me $20,000, I ain't going to say squat. But I'll take your money, but I don't have to do what you tell me to do. It's a free country. I know that's good agreement up in your butt. So, take that into account for. But if you know you're taking money from something, and you get on a YouTube channel and you try to say, oh, this is what MAGA is doing, or this is what the Democrats are doing, or this is what Black Lives Matter are doing, yeah, they're probably all doing it. I hate to say it, but they're probably all doing it. But the question is, why? And why are they doing it? And who is doing it? What are the repercussions that are going to come from all this? And so forth. It's not like you can You know, you'd run a cop down and sit there and say, well, this girl's got 2 kids at home. Well, I think she should have been home with her kids instead of trying to run that ICE officer. Do you think? Oops. Can you say there it went? People don't think. They really don't. Yeah, you got a right to protest peacefully. You don't ever want to use your car as a weapon. It's a two-ton bullet. Um, could things have been done better? Yes, I'm sure they could have. I'm an ex-federal agent myself, believe it or not, for CID in the Army. That was before they had cell phones, by the way. Kind of, if anybody knows what that is, it's kind of like Navy NCIS. The Army's version of Navy NCIS. Only that was about 45 years ago, damn near 50 years ago. The second job I ever had in my life, and yeah, we didn't have the communications like we do now. Facial administrations and all that kind of crap. I had to write notes on a 3x index card, manual typewriter, make reports. I'm getting drunker than hell all night, go out there, party my butt off, try to see who the terrorist was, who am I investigating, who am I not investigating. I had no friends, dog. If you were talking to me, there's a good chance I'm looking for something. Your butt's getting ready to go to jail for something, probably for about 15, 20 years. So, the best thing to do to me when he was in the Army is stay clear away from me, from a guy like me. Because you wouldn't know who I am, but later on you're going to find out, oh my God, what did I just do? And I said, you fucked up. That's what you did. But anyway, that's beside the point. That's a long way down the road. And I thought I was doing my country good by being on a counterterrorist unit in a covert drugs operation. But you find out that it's a never-ending fight, man. It really is. It's a never-ending battle. I'm just so glad that at least Trump is out there trying to fight the cartels. People don't have a clue, one, what it's like, man. I was out there fighting with not even half the information that these guys have nowadays to get the job done. So I commend the men for doing what they're doing. You people don't realize what these drugs will do to a man. If I'm going to shoot you, if I got to take me 8 bullets to get you down, you're on drugs, dude. That's right. If I take, I can empty a clip in you. But they're going to try me with overkill. And I'm saying this SOB was still coming at me. It takes 8 or 9 officers sometimes to subdue one man. People, you don't know any drugs are on, and they will get you. So please, before you're in trying to tear somebody up about how many people it takes to subdue something, unless you're in that situation, shut up. Because I'm going to tell you, shut the hell up if you don't never been in that situation. You know, there's been people out there like, oh, hell, Rodney King, okay? We don't know what type of drugs he was on. You know, the police department was like going, okay, let's charge our police officer for beating him up. Yeah, it looked like they were beating the hell out of him. But you see, he was not stopping. He was not stopping resisting. He was still struggling. I don't know about you, but if I see with a knee in my back, I'm gonna say, okay, I got 35 officers out there. I think I'm gonna stop now. You know what I mean? I'll stop, lay my hand down, and just act like I'm dead or something. You know what I mean? But or the other guy would, and there was just recently going on in Minnesota where they had a big riots war, and that police officer had a chokehold around his neck. Okay, that wasn't a chokehold. The guy can breathe. You can't sit there and yell for mommy, mommy, I can't breathe, mommy, like you're singing a freaking song. You obviously could breathe because you were telling people you couldn't breathe. If you can't breathe, you're gonna be choking. You're gonna be choking to death if you can't breathe. So I mean, but the guy was 5 or 6 times felon for robbery and theft and everything else, and he was just getting ready to walk out the store with, for theft again, and with counterfeiting. Oh my God, people counterfeiting. What's that, 15-year prison sentence? And But yet they're making the cop be the bad guy. Now, I'm not saying cops are all good, because there's a lot of bad guys out there. But there are a few good cops out there. And unfortunately, the bad ones are made awful rough for the good ones. But I think a lot of them, they're interacting with these kids in the street. That's what the police officers need to do. Whether they're black or white or brown or pink or purple, have these officers intermix with all walks of life in the streets. To let them know, hey, look, we're not the bad guy. We're not after you. Play ball with them. Take time out of your patrol car. Come on. Stop eating that damn donut. Put it. Put it. Hey, basketball, huh? Hey, yo, man. Let me see that ball, man. And play ball with the damn kids. Man, they'll respect you more for that than anything. I'm not saying lay down your gun or your car. Play ball with them. They will respect you for that. The gang members will probably respect you for that. Tear down that barrier. But anyway, guys, it's you got to tear something down to bring it up. And it's like, what do you do to bring it up? You can't bring up anything because you don't want to bring up with your police officer. And it's like, when you do that, you create awareness around your community that you are a human being. If you make a mistake, you're never, as a police officer, you're never going to admit you made a mistake. The lawyer will tell you that. But all the officers are gun-ho. Most of them are. I was when I was an age for CID and a military police officer. I was gun-ho. I want to get there and do my job, but you realize that being gun-ho ain't the way to be, man. Talk to people. Be nice to them. I had an old sergeant tell me that. They didn't knock that chip off your shoulder. Are they going to put one on there you can't knock off? I didn't understand what he was talking about, but he said, yeah, he was right. You want to catch a lot of bad guys. Be nice. You get more flies with that honey than you do with vinegar. And if your job is to get bad guys off the street, don't try to act like you're tougher than them because it ain't going to work. You got to be smart and work smart, not hard. Remember, they got weapons too. They probably got half the weapons are better than ours are. But the police officers need to realize that letting the community know that they're a part of them. You see an old lady down the road, stop that car. Get out and help her cross the street. Turn on your red lights if you have to. My God, that thing would go viral. If you just stopped the car and we saw a lady crossing the street, help a lady cross, I'd stop that street, knowing she needed help. I'd flip my red lights on and my blues on and get out there and traffic control, and I'd sit there and tell that lady, come on across. We got this. You know what I mean? Come on across. We got this. Come on. That is well beyond serviceability. Yeah, you might get a little trouble from your captain. But you know what? Sometimes getting in a little bit of trouble is going to save your ass in the long run. Because that little lady you just helped, she might have been a drug dealer's mom. And you don't know what goes behind that woman's mind. She may have been having so much trouble and hated the cops all her life. But to see something like that, see an officer stop traffic 4 ways just to help her get across that road without getting hurt, that's going to save them. And that's worth more than a million smiles. Try it sometime, officer. Ain't going to take that long for that woman to get across the road. If all the traffic is stopped and safe for her to cross. And the next time you think you can read a mind about why homeless are homeless, I'm going to put you on a Jerry Springer program. Because you don't know why a person's homeless. There's a multitude of people why a person's homeless. Sometimes it's by choice. Sometimes it's not by choice. It's circumstances. And a lot of circumstances revolve around good people make bad decisions sometimes. And when you're out and down and further down that road you go in that rabbit hole, it's tough to get out. It's very tough to get out. Some people struggle. They're going down that rabbit hole and they're trying to save their house. I know I was there. I was been 3 years homeless. I went to California, but I was married, had a nice house. That woman took about everything she could possibly get. I'm not going to get into that because there's two sides to every story. But the bottom line is, yeah, I lost it. I just lost my mind. I was losing my kids and everything. But you go down that rabbit hole. People are homeless for different reasons, man. You don't know why they're homeless. Maybe a man lost his entire family in a fire somewhere. You don't know why. Maybe he was dirty by people, and he can't, he's homeless now because other people have got to the point to where it's like, man, he's disgusting. He's homeless. You don't know why that man's homeless. What if he lost his son in a war? What if he come across about saying that you lost your dad in the war? How does that feel as a child alone as a spouse to create something, create a wonder string of that thing there? I mean, you really don't know. But at any rate, let's talk about getting back to the basics of the Beatles again for a little bit. We're going to I'm going to be on the road and then we'll go for about 14, 15 more minutes about the Beatles. Because, man, they're the chick butt group. Love Paul McCartney, John Lennon, George Harrison, Ringo Starr. Their last concert was in Candlestick Park in California. And it's just something that's there. Get it on my phone. Get on my phone. There we go. Get it on my phone. Anyway. So, you gotta figure out that people love music. I'd rather trade music and recipes and bullets any day of the week. Trade recipes and songs. I'm going to wind up here probably within the next a week or so. I want to get my kitchen squared away a little bit. I got a floor to put down. I got walls to paint. I got a new electric stove to hook up over here, and I'm gonna start a cooking channel. I'll probably do a versatile thing here. I'll still do music. I'm gonna do a lot of music on this channel, but I'm also gonna do a lot of cooking on this channel too. Maybe combine them both together, cooking and music at the same time. I don't think anybody's done that. They try to put music when they're cooking, but I'm talking about with the main groups, people like the Beatles or Creed Clearwater Revival, CCR, a little Baton Rouge music here, a little variety of music to go with the kind of food we're making. I've been halfway around the world 14 times, so I love to cook from scratch. I mean, from the tortilla all the way up to the meat and the sauces. And believe me, I love Mexican food. And I love a little German food. And I love Chinese food. And a little Japanese food. French food's okay. It's been here flavor here, but I obviously love American food. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, so I'm a North American. But I do love the different varieties of food. And you'll find out, too, I tell you what, Mexican food and Chinese food are, if you look at how many people to feed on a budget, that's the way to go. Go Chinese or Mexican. That 10-pound roast will make you about 100 taquitos or 40 burritos and 10 taquitos and a couple enchiladas. That's 10-pound roast will go a long ways when you do it right. If you're Chinese food, my God, that'll be damn near 100 people. With rice, put that put that pork roast on rice, slice it up, throw you a little bit of Hussein sauce, make that homemade. Get a little ginger, get your little soy sauce, get a little bit of sherry and cook your sherry in there, and a little bit of honey. You mix that around in there. You got your teriyaki steak and rice. Throw a little peas in there, throw a little ginger in there, throw Chinese spice. Throw that in your rice. Now you got to fry that up. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you make dinner. Make it go a long ways too. But anyhow, man, that's a couple of examples of what I'm going to show you how to do. I think outside the box, folks. I always think outside the box. Don't go nowhere and think like, well, this has got to be done this way. 'Cause no, it don't. Sometimes you can take my recipe and you can around and say, well, isn't that the same as a taco? I'm going, yeah. It's called something different because the way you put it together or the way you cook it. It's the same meat, the same ingredients, and whether you're rolling a soft tortilla or a big round tortilla to make a burrito style, a taquito, or an enchilada style, it's the sauce that's going to change. And usually the sauces are the same. But your primary ingredients in any kind of Mexican are going to be about the same, probably depending on where you come from in the country. But if you're coming from Tex-Mex style, you got most of your food's going to be the same as far as your peppers go. California's a lot of poblamos, poblamos and Anaheim, same peppers. Where in Tex-Mex you have, I can't think of like what you make your chili rellenos with, but there are different types of chilies that you would make your chili rellenos with, your hot sauce with what's grown in, say, Mexico or Southwest New Mexico or Arizona, in Texas. So, but again, from the area, you making one dinner, you use those same ingredients in just about every one of your dishes. It's just how you're preparing them, the thickness of your meat, or how thin you're cutting it, um, how long you're cooking it for, what you're using it with, corn masa. Are you using it? Are you going to make a tamale out of it? Are you going to make a taquito out of it, or tostada out of it on a corn masa? Are you going to make a sopapilla out of it with a flour tortilla? Basically, sopapilla is not more than just cutting up, the squares of your tortilla and throwing it and deep frying it, and it puffs up. And you put a little honey in that puppy, and man, that's good shit. But I hope I'm pronouncing that or something. But it's a tortilla, but you use that same tortilla again. You throw your meat in there, your cheese, whatever your sauce in there, and you got a burrito. Or you can make a mini taco out of it. It's the same stuff, just cooked differently. But you'd be surprised what you can make. And it also tastes a little different. Kind of like, how many times you can, what you make an egg taste like? I mean, think about it. You got one egg, and you can fry it. Hard fried. Eggs Benedict, where you can basically just boil it in water. And you can scramble it. You can shy it, dye it, shoot it in the butt. And you're going to get a different taste, just a slightly different taste on each way it is, but it's the same egg, just cooked differently. It's kind of like what Mexican food is or Chinese food. You ever notice in Chinese food, they use a lot of sauces in their food. It's the same basic ingredients, just different sauces. And I tell you what, man, that sauce will make you hungry. But, nowadays you got to watch that budget. And I'm sure the Beatles don't have to watch their budget anymore, but anyhow, I'll get off the wall, but that's just talking about a channel I like to make. I just like to show you, not necessarily give you a recipe, but make you help you guys watch me do something and plant ideas in your brain, thinking outside the box. You can tell me how you're doing whatever you're doing. Everybody knows how to boil an egg. Well, I take that back. My stepdaughter called me 40 miles away and said, Dad, how do you boil an egg? Houston, we got a problem. Did you hear the word Google? You call me long just as how to boil an egg? Seriously, girl? But I Google it up. They'll tell you how to do it. I ain't got time. I'm a barber. I got head to cut right now. Anyway, I went home. I told her boyfriend, I said, I'm going to buy you a can opener for Christmas. He looked at me kind of strange. He says, why is that? I said, because my daughter, as much as I love her, she can't cook worth a shit. You're going to starve to death unless you got a can opener because she can't even use a microwave. I said, canned good is always good. I said, you can either have a can cold or hot. But I'll buy you one because you're going to realize she can't cook. And there you go. I think you got a kick out of that. My daughter, she kind of got really ticked. And I thought, well, you're 17 years old. You should have watched your mama how to eat. And there's one thing I taught my son is how to cook. I said, don't ever rely on anybody for food and how to cook food. So learn how to cook yourself. Just, taste it as you're going along. Some people don't like much salt in their food. But I will say this, salt is a way to highlight the flavor of any food. So if you tell me you don't like salt in your food, you must be a bland person. And just because you got high blood pressure don't mean that you have to cut out every single grain of salt that there is to cut out. But you can get an alternative to salt. For the people who have high blood pressure, because you don't want to add. Okay, say for example you're eating Chinese food. Chinese food is very high in sodium, especially with the soy sauce. You don't need table salt when you're using soy sauce. Cut that out unless you want a heart attack. It's not necessary. Think about what you're doing. Garlic salt, garlic, garlic powder, onion salt, onion powder. Regulate how much you're putting in there. Use the powder. Put in a pinch of oh, I can't think of the name of it now. Mrs. Dash. Okay, and you don't need a lot of it, but you're not trying to kill it with the salt anyway. You're trying to bring out the flavor of it. Use Mrs. Dash in a flavor enhancer, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the sodium in there. You're looking for the flavor enhancer, and that's what I use a lot. I use a pinch of salt myself, but my wife don't like it, so I use like the Mrs. Dash. It's like a flavor enhancer. It's the same doggone thing without the sodium in there. So, um, do something like that. Because really, sodium does kind of help the flavor out a little bit. But some people just don't want salt. Period. That's fine. But I think food tastes a little bland. But I do know too that if you're using canned tomatoes, fresh tomatoes from a garden or fresh tomatoes from a vegetable store, there's a big, huge difference in your hot sauce for Mexican food. If you're using poblano chili peppers, serrano chili peppers, you're buying the garlic, not out of the shaker jar. I do cheat and use out of the shaker jar with garlic and onions. But if you use the real garlic, the clove garlic, and the diced onions, and you're using the tinge of cumin. You don't like a lot of cumin, a little bit of cumin. Cumin will make it that chili flavor. It'll make your chili flavor. You want to put the green hot sauce. You put a little tomatillos in there. You want a green sauce without the tartness. You use the yellow, and you use the red. It tastes like you use more of the yellow, and it'll come out like kind of pretty greenish color, like a kind of baby poop type thing. But man, some good shit. You gotta have the yellow tomato and like a beefsteak tomato, or you can use tomatillos, or not tomatillos, but you can use oh crap, what are they? The cherry tomato. No, you don't want cherry tomatoes in there. That's too sweet. Oh god. I think I'm here in a minute. We use, the the regular tomatoes, just the regular old tomatoes. You don't have to be beefsteak, but just regular old tomatoes, and then your yellow tomatoes. And if you want to go a little to cut it out a little bit, to add a little bit, just a little bit of flavor to that, add some. If you're gonna add, oh, to make it like a guacamole. If you want to add a little bit of an avocado, add a little bit of an avocado there, man, and that will just bring that flavor level. You put a little bit of that. Oh, you want to doggone it. Put a little bit of hot sauce in there, the homemade hot sauce, but use the stuff that's made your hot sauce before you put your avocado in there, and you kind of cut that up a little bit. And you kind of cut up just that. You don't need a whole lot of your avocado in there. You, a little bit, just you're changing that flavor to a mild, slow bite heat. You know, just like it's a slow grab heat, like when you first grab it, you go, damn, that tastes good. And then all of a sudden your nose starts watering a little bit because it's grabbing your nose. You can grab things from your nose. But you can do things like that. Now, I will show you that probably in the next week or so. I will be doing a cooking video on how to do that. And we'll start out with a little bit of Mexican show one night. I'm going to teach you how to make what I call Mexican salsa. But it's salsa verde because it's with meat. I use pork. And I'll show you my version of my salsa verde or my Mexican chili that I turn into either A, take the tortilla and you can eat out of a bowl with a tortilla, or B, you can wrap it up and make it a burrito out of it, or you can make it a wet burrito out of it with the queso. But that will be in a later date. Probably next. I will let you know next week, and I'll have it subtitled under my video. Burrito day today, taco day today, or something like that. Tacos for frijoles or something like that, or tacos for frijole day. And maybe next week, we get to that, I might do, hey, it's Chinese time. What do we got cooking there? We got egg rolls, spring rolls for Japanese, egg rolls for the Chinese. The difference is one's crispy and the other one is one, I believe the egg roll is actually more of an Americanized kind of a deal than anything, where the spring roll is actually more Japanese. So your spring rolls are actually a very thin coating, much like your egg roll is, but it's a smooth coating. It's mostly wonton wraps made with egg. Are made without eggs, so that's what your egg wrap rolls. And then your spring rolls are not made with egg. During the way it's just flour and water, maybe a little bit of oil in there. That's it. Very thin, and you paste it together a little bit of water in. Throw some cabbage in there, maybe some bean sprouts. If you want bean sprouts, and some people don't, or cabbage and diced, real thin sliced carrots. And you can a little bit of onion, and there you go. But anyway, I'm going to be off here, and I'll see you on the reboot too. My kitties are hungry right now. I'm going to get them fed. If you'd like to donate money to my channel, you can donate that to Dknews60 at gmail.com. That's my PayPal. And again, it's Dknews60 at gmail.com. That's actually the title of my show, Dknews60. You just don't put the little ad sign in front there. Just PayPal me any amount of money you want to. If you use family and friends, it's free of charge. Any amount will do. I mean, 50 cents a dime. Buy me a cup of coffee. That'd be great. Anyway, I'm out of here. Peace out. Hope you have a good weekend. God bless you. Hope you like to drop the videos I got you earlier about some of the Beatles albums. And tell me what kind of music you want to listen to. And let me know. I'm going to switch it up every day. Anyway, God bless y'all. Peace out. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.